Hey there, planners. Today I want to talk about how to avoid purchasing planners because they look beautiful or interesting or intriguing that you end up not using next year, and how to step back and evaluate your planner system needs for the year ahead. I'm going to start with a blank sheet of paper. I encourage you to go grab a blank sheet of paper. Let's walk through building our planner system that's going to help us be the most productive, the most creative, the most organized, to get the most accomplished and meet all of our needs. So go grab your blank sheet of paper and your pen and let's get planning. It is crazy out there in the planner world right now. Erin Condren, Hobonichi, Happy Planner, Day Designer, all of the new notebooks, Archer and Olive and Scribbles That Matter, and oh my goodness, it is overwhelming out there right now with all the different planners. Even Sterling Ink has released a B6 Hobonichi-like planner with Tomoe River paper, and let me tell you, I came so close to ordering it, but I know myself well enough to know that I will buy all the planners and use very few of the planners if I do not take the steps to map out what my planner system needs are. So a lot of times I find myself wanting to fall into the trap of buying the planner and then trying to make the planner work. That is not the right method for me. I have learned through trial and error that is not going to work for me. What I need to do is map out my planner system needs and then get the planners to meet my planner system needs. And that's what I'm going to walk through today. I hope that you will join me in this exercise. I hope that you will pause this video as we go through to do the deep work required to map out your planner system. I'm going to try to step through this step by step and keep this as simple as possible. Notice that we have blank paper and a pen. That's all you need. Grab a notebook, grab a pen, grab some scratch paper, something that you can write on the back of, and let's walk through this step by step so that we do not fall into the trap of buying the planners that we actually are not going to use and wasting money because we go after the shiny thing. So the first step is I want to talk about what is a planner system, because you hear me using the term planner system. A planner system is more than one single planning tool working together in conjunction with other planning tools to keep you organized. So you can think about this like your main planner, where you write down or capture electronically your plans, as well as some sort of digital calendar system. Maybe it's a Google Cal or an Outlook calendar, plus a notebook that you jot down ideas in, plus a meal plan that you keep for your household or your family. So all of those are individual parts and pieces that make up a complete planner system. Selecting the right planner system elements is extremely important to ensuring that all the areas of your life that actually need planning are captured. And they're captured in the most efficient and effective way possible. Creating a planner system is more than just buying a planner. And that's where we get ourselves in trouble. When we rush out and buy the planners in this beautiful, wonderful, exciting, confusing planner release season, we end up with planners that don't actually meet the needs of our planner system. So I don't want you to end up frustrated and wasting money. I don't want myself to end up frustrated and wasting money. So we're going to build our planner system for 2023. The first step we're going to take is we are going to grab our scratch sheet of paper and a pen, and we're going to write down what needs to be included in our planner system. Take the time to actually list all the areas of your life that require some sort of planning. Some examples of this can be goal setting, to-dos, appointments, events, managing a home, work, and your professional life and all that's required there. The aspects of your family that you have to manage for your family members. Maybe you manage aspects for your church or you have a role there. Journaling is part of the system. Maybe you have a side hustle that you need to keep up with, or finances, or just a place to capture reference info. All of those are examples. So I'm going to make my list. I want you to grab a scrap sheet of paper and start making your list. If you need to pause the video because you need more time, go ahead and do that. But let's start listing out all of the things that need to be included in our planner system. All right, so in my, sort of brain dumping and listing what actually needs to be included, what areas of my life do I need plans to support, I actually came up with 8 ideas. The first is appointments, events, calendars, family, personal activities. I would almost call this kind of like the catch-all, my main planner. And then in addition to that, I also need something, because that tends to be a lot of information. I also need something that is that, but in a condensed, lighter, smaller, easily portable format. And so I'm calling that on-the-go planning. It's not as detailed. It's more overarching. It goes with me to appointments and stuff. It's a way to capture new information that I would bring back to this main planner. The next area I have is memory keeping and journaling. So a place to keep record of what happened in my family and personal life. I like to do this. It's something I very much enjoy. These are like keepsakes to me. So something that fulfills that need. My fourth area is all about my faith journaling, faith planning, Bible studies, scripture art, sermon notes, family devotions, prayers, all of that stuff. The next area is basically scribbles. I actually wrote scribbles here. It's brain dumps, it's lists, it's notes, it's messy ideas, kind of scribbled out, just a place to be very free and messy. I need that. The next area is reference information that I will use to store information that goes into these other areas, especially the main, planner system, the main planner with all of the calendars and family and personal activities. So that's going to be needed. I need a place for finance, receipts, and spending. So something just devoted to financial aspects. And then I also have side hustle, content planning, everything related to Planning Annie. And I just realized I totally missed one. So let me add another one over here. I need one for work. And work is standalone for me for many reasons, but mainly because the nature of my work is sometimes confidential and needs to be kept separate from my personal planning. So that gives me 9 areas where I need specific planning tools. So this is the first step. Take a minute, look over your areas, make sure you've captured everything. Maybe you forgot something like I did. So, really think about all the areas that you need planning for. All right. The second step we're going to take, now that we have written all this out, we want to go into a little bit more detail for each one of these and capture how information related to these areas comes to you. So what are the sources of information for these different areas? So for example, when I think about work, how does information come to me? It's going to come to me in email. It's going to come to me through meetings at work. I'm going to need a place to take meeting notes. So start thinking about how the information comes to you. What are the inboxes per se for the things that need to be planned? And what are the types of things that you would need to include in this planner system to make sure you have the right planner system to meet your needs in that area? So take a few minutes. I'm actually going to use a different color. I'm going to flip over to green in my multi-pen. How handy is that? And I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to list out the different sources of information needed to help me plan in these specific areas. All right, so now I've listed out the types of information, the sources of information for each of those. For example, I won't go through all of them, but I will say, for example, for my appointments, events, calendars, family and personal activities planner, kind of my main personal planner, I know that sources of information and the type of things I will need include my family's schedules, school's schedules, personal emails is a place that this information comes in. I get a lot of things for here from brain dumps that I do regularly, from my reoccurring to-do list, which if you're not sure what that is, I have a whole video about that. I'll leave that listed down below. So that's a place where that information will come in. It could be mail, like snail mail, text messages, phone calls. I'm also thinking that I need a view of weekly, monthly, daily, and also a future log. So that's all the types of information that I will be incoming and the way I need to organize it in that system. And I've done that for each one. So now the next step, step 3, is get another blank sheet of paper. So keep this off to the side. And now we're going to look at these and think about how do we want to group? Are there any of these that should be grouped together? So how are you going to group and organize these? So for example, I've already talked about my personal planning and my work planning need to be separate. So those are two separate. I would not group those together. However, I also know that my reference information, I would really like to keep with my main planning information. I would like for those two to be together. So go ahead and list out how you would categorize these items based on how you would use them. Put those together in categories. So think like home management, reference info, and finances. Do those go together for you and how you would use them? So grab a blank sheet of paper, keep this off to the side, go ahead and list out the categories, grouping things together. So now I have taken my long list here and grouped them into actually 6 categories. So I took 9 items and grouped them into 6 categories. The way I categorized them was a main planner, which includes family schedule, personal schedule, side hustle, reference info. I also need to include meals in there. I want that all together. Work planning is standalone, faith planning standalone, memory keeping with journaling and stickers, all of that fun stuff. On-the-go planning includes finances and is condensed info from the main planner. And then I need a scribble book. I need a place just to make messy lists and notes, kind of like I'm doing today, and brain dumps and things like that. So those are my 6 categories of planning items. The next step is to determine the format that you need for each of these items. And so you can see how we're getting closer to determining what planner we need. There are a list of questions to ask yourself and answer to determine the format. And I'm not going to take the time to actually write that all out here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through each one of the questions, and I'll also have the questions listed down in the description box below for you to reference, because what I would encourage you to do is ask yourself these questions for each one of these items, write out your answers, and then that's going to help you in the next step, which is all about finding the right planner. So for the questions, first of all, ask yourself how information needs to be sectioned off in each one of these areas. So for example, in the main planner, what sections would I need in this planner? So I've got meals listed here. That's probably going to be its own section, or it could be part of monthly planning. Do I need yearly planning, monthly planning, weekly planning? Do I need a special section for my side hustle and content strategy? So I would be writing out all the different sections I need. How do I need to section this off? And you can see how this relates to the format of the planner, because if my answer is, no, I don't really need sections, I just need to be able to turn the page and keep going, well, that might lead me to a bullet journal style or a blank notebook style. Whereas if I need very definite sections, so I need my monthly planning to be completely separate from my reference planning, then I'm looking at some sort of planner that I can divide up into sections. The next question is, do you need the flexibility of being able to add and rearrange pages? This is going to point you in very different directions. So if the answer to this question is no, then a bound book or a spiral bound book would likely meet your needs. If the answer to this question is yes, you need the ability to add and rearrange pages, you could be looking at options like disc bound or ring bound, or binder style, or even digital planning or traveler's notebooks, things like that. So make sure you take the time to evaluate each of your items, and do you need the ability to add and rearrange pages? Think about size. So when I look at everything that I want to capture in my main planner, I'm already knowing that this needs to be pretty big. I need to have a lot of information in here. So I'm going to be thinking about sizing. So an A6 notebook probably will not meet the need here. Is it an A5? Is it a B5? Is it a letter size? Like, what is the size that I would, how many pages do I think I need? Do I need the ability to add pages and they need to be, A5 size? So think about the size that you need based on what you've got listed here and what you want to include. Will you be using printables, pre-printed, or are you drawing in elements? So printables are things that you find or purchase, you print off yourself, and you add them into the system. Pre-printed would be, it already comes to you, the format that you choose already comes to you with what you need printed in it. And then adding it in yourself or drawing it in would be just a blank notebook, and you are planning to draw in or add in all the elements. So think about that for each one of your planning areas. What's your budget? So I'm looking at 6 different planning areas that all need to stand alone. If I spend $100 on each one of these, we're talking $600 or more, so that's not going to be an option for me. So I need to think about my total budget. I need to think about where do I want to spend the money. So I've got Scribble Book here with notes and messy brain dumps and messy lists, things like that. Do I need to spend as much money on this planning element as I want to spend in my memory keeping, which is my journaling, my stickers, and something that becomes a legacy item that I keep and reference in the future? So think about total budget and then how you want to break that budget up across the different areas that you have. Does your planner need to be mobile? So I've already talked about on-the-go planning for me needs to be very mobile. My main planner, which has all of this information, it's going to be too big for me to carry around. So the mobility of the planner is definitely going to be a factor. I need something for on-the-go planning that I can throw in my purse and go and not have to worry about being delicate with it or it getting messed up or something getting bent or out of place. Whereas for my main planner, I'm thinking this is not going anywhere, it's staying at home. So that's the type of evaluation to do about mobility of the planner. How do you want to use the planner? What type of binding? So think about all the different options for binding, and this comes into place a little bit with all the other questions about adding pages or rearranging things, the size, but you've got a lot of different options in binding. You've got traveler's notebooks, you've got spiral bound, you've got ring bound, binder style, bound sewn notebooks, that don't come apart, or spiral bound notebooks that don't come apart. So just think about the different bindings, and is there a specific binding as you look across this list that you want to use in one of these areas? So capture that if that's the case. Are your planner elements going to be minimal or decorative, or some combination of the two? You may not know the answer, and that's okay. For me, for my memory keeping, I've already denoted that I want to use stickers here. I want this to be decorative and pretty. I also know for my work planning, very minimal. I really don't use stickers at all. I may use some color coding to differentiate items, different projects that I'm working on, but I'm not breaking out the stickers and the washi tape every time I go to use this planner. So make sure you capture minimal or decorative for each item as you know about it now. All right, the next question is, how much time do you have to spend on each one of your planner system elements, setting it up each day, week, month, however often you're going to be setting it up? So do you have time to sit down and draw in every day a daily format or a daily setup? Are you going to be able to sit down once a week and set up items in your planner system? Or do you have no time to set up the planner and you need it already printed? And also think about that for each element, because maybe there's one element that you want to be able to spend the time on setting things up, but then the rest of the elements you don't. You want them already set up for you. So think about that in terms of each one of your items in your planner system. And then the last question is looking over everything you've captured so far and thinking about the supplies that you'll need. Are the supplies that you need, are there things that you already have and you're going to shop your stash? Are they things that you need to make or you have the ability to make? Or are there things that you're going to buy? So for example, if I determined that one of my items I want to put in a ring-bound planner system, I already have some ring-bound planners, covers available. So maybe I want to shop my stash and pick one of those, and I want to make the inserts that go into it. So those are the type of questions. And look at your supplies that you're going to need. Are you going to make them? Are you going to shop your stash? Or are you going to buy them? So those are the 10 questions to ask yourself to determine the format in each one of your categories. Write that all out. I'm not going to do that with you because that would take forever. But write that all out for yourself. And then the last step, and the step that we get the most excited about, now that you have all the planner system needs, the elements, the format, you can start actually researching and shopping for planners. This is the fun part, right? But you can't get to the fun part until you do the pre-work ahead of time and get all of your needs mapped out. Now that I know, for example, I want to use a traveler's notebook for goal planning and meal planning. It needs to have this many sections. It needs to be this size, right? Now I can start shopping. There's a bunch of resources for research. Planner websites are certainly a great source for research. YouTube is fantastic. If you think you have narrowed down the planner that you're interested in, or at least the style, do some research on YouTube and watch planner setup. So for example, if you're interested in an Erin Condren Petite Folio system, do a research on Petite Folio system setup, right, on YouTube. Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook groups, all of those are also great sources of information. Take notes about what you see. Take notes about what interests you, what you don't like, what are the problems or issues you think you might run into. Keep a notebook or keep notes on all of those ideas. And then once you have narrowed it down and done all your research, you feel confident that that planner is going to meet your planner system needs. Now you're ready to purchase. So I really hope that this gives you some ideas. It helps you get your mind wrapped around, what exactly do you need in your planner system. I'm talking about this for the year coming up, for 2023, only because it's planner release season and it gets a little hectic in planner release season. You guys know that. And I don't want to waste money, and I don't want you to waste money. But this can really be done any time of year. It can be done anytime you feel like you just need to reset yourself in your planner system. If parts of your planner system aren't working for you, you've lost planner peace, this is a great exercise to bring you back to center and get back into really understanding what it is you need in your planner system. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got some inspiration and ideas. I hope you followed along with me. I would love to hear your comments down below. I would love to hear, how are you selecting planners for the upcoming season? Have you already purchased some planners, and are you certain how you're going to use them, or are you planning to figure that out? I would love to hear all of your comments, ideas, thoughts. Share your methods of, making sure you get the right planner to meet your needs. We all want to benefit from each other's ideas. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and let me know. Subscribe to Plannin' Annie for more content like this. And as always, thanks for planning with me.